All right, guys. So the ruling class and the neocons are getting far too comfortable because this moment here, in a world that made sense, would be a giant scandal. Now, it is a scandal on lefty Twitter, but only lefty Twitter. So let's go ahead and listen to John Bolton admitting something that perhaps he shouldn't have here.
Not an attack on our democracy. It's Donald Trump looking out for Donald Trump. It's a once-in-a-lifetime occurrence.
I don't know that I agree with you. To be fair, with all due respect, one doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup.
I disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did. It was just stumbling around from one idea to another. Ultimately, he did unleash the rioters at the Capitol. As to that, there's no doubt. But not to overthrow the Constitution, to buy more time to throw the matter back to the states to try and redo the issue. And if you don't believe that, you're going to overreact. And I think that's a real risk for the committee, which is...
And what would have happened if they sent it back to the states and the states said, no, Biden did win? What would have happened then, John? They wouldn't have accepted that either, because they didn't accept the 60 court cases that said they lost. It's a terrible argument from John Bolton. We'll run it back in a second.
Done a lot of good work, mostly when the witnesses testify, not when the members are opining. It is invariably the case that when you go too far trying to prove your case, you undermine it. And I think you got to give credit to the intelligence.
So, by the way, Tapper did not push back in the slightest. He was just told by a high-ranking official in the U.S. government under the Bush administration and the Trump administration, a guy who, is a leader on foreign policy. He was just told, yeah, I've planned coups. And Tapper's like, interesting. Wait, a coup? You know coups are illegal, right? You know they are undemocratic and authoritarian by their very nature, right? No pushback. Nothing at all, Jake. Nothing. Let's watch that again. I mean, this is incredible.
Not an attack on our democracy. It's Donald Trump looking out for Donald Trump.
It's not an attack on our democracy when you want the vice president to say, I'm rejecting the correct results of an election. It is Donald Trump looking out for Donald Trump, but it's also an attack on the democracy. There's no doubt about that.
A once-in-a-lifetime occurrence.
I don't know that I agree with you.
Once-in-a-lifetime occurrence. Now, hold on now. What happened in 2000 again? Oh, that's right. Every single way they recounted the state of Florida with the votes showed Al Gore won. But the election had already been called for George W. Bush. So George W. Bush ended up taking the White House. So that also is incredibly suspect, is incredibly questionable, and it shows this is not a once-in-a-lifetime moment. And once you open the floodgates, there may be no closing the floodgates. Because Trump can, maybe run and win again, or run and do the same kind of trickery and fuckery, or DeSantis or somebody else could say, look, the last guy did it. All you got to do is scream that the election is rigged no matter what the results are, and then some percentage of people will believe it. Oh, it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I don't think so.
To be fair, with all due respect, one doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup.
I disagree with that. As somebody...
If Trump was brilliant, it would have been more likely that the coup attempt would have worked. But he's not brilliant, so it didn't work. But the intent matters, doesn't it? If you hire an incompetent hitman to kill your wife, it doesn't much matter if the hitman is good or bad. You had the intent to try to kill your wife. So that in and of itself is illegal. And Bolton's like, no, you have to be brilliant to do coups. I know. I do coups. And I'm brilliant. Undermining your own point, you are the furthest thing from brilliant, you absolute scoundrel. You war criminal with blood on your hands.
Somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but, other places, it takes a lot of work.
The fact that Tapper didn't say, wait, which places? Where did you plan coups? This is a big deal, dude. What are you talking about? You just said you did coups? You just casually said, I did coups. Imagine just letting that slide. Imagine letting that slide. By the way, we know the answer. or at least some of the answers. Venezuela, for sure. For sure. Iraq, because he was directly involved with the Iraq War. And I'm sure there's many others. But those are the two that come to my mind, at least. Go ahead. Comment below. Give me a running list of the places that John Bolton was directly involved with coups. Because I'm sure it's a very, very, very long list. Much longer than the ones that come to my head, which is Iraq and Venezuela.
And that's not what he did. It was just stumbling around from one idea to another. Ultimately, he did unleash the rioters.
By the way, North Korea, too. Remember he famously said, oh, Libya. No, he wasn't in there for Libya. That was Hillary Clinton. She planned that one. And Obama. But North Korea, he famously said, oh, we're going to do the Libya model over there. As Trump was trying to negotiate with them, one of the few decent things Trump did, like, okay, let's like try to get some sort of peace thing with North Korea. Bolton was undermining it. And at the same time saying, we're going to do the Libya model over there, which means we're going to overthrow him even if he gives up his weapons. Okay. Anyway.
At the Capitol.
Run that back a touch.
He did unleash the rioters at the Capitol. As to that, there's no doubt. But not to overthrow the Constitution, to buy more time to throw the matter back to the states to try and redo the issue.
No. That's totally wrong. Because if the state said Biden did win, he would have said, I don't accept that. That's a lie. The election is rigged. So it doesn't matter if the answer, whenever the answer comes back Biden, he's going to say that's illegitimate. So this idea, Bolton is trying to, here's what Bolton's trying to do. He's trying to say, yeah, what Trump did is bad. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. But let's not overreact here. Little slaps on the wrist are maybe okay, but let's not go beyond that. That's the argument. That's the argument he's making. I disagree with it, but it's just a disagreement. No. It is not just a disagreement. It is definitely not just a disagreement. It is criminal, without a doubt. Now, will they actually get him on crimes? Doubt it. Democrats are Democrats, and they're pathetic. But certainly what he did is immoral, unethical, illegal. No doubt about it. He's trying to say, yeah, maybe it's immoral and unethical, but illegal. I don't know about that. And, he's sort of bumbling, and he's a narcissist. And, but, he was just trying to get a second opinion, bro. He was trying to get a second opinion on the election. That's all it was. Imagine believing that that's all it was. And that if the states say, oh, it's Biden, when they throw it back to the states, he'll be like, oh, okay, cool. He wouldn't have done that. He wouldn't have done that. He was going after his number one ally, who was with him through thick and thin because his ally wouldn't try to end American democracy on a whim.
And if you don't believe that, you're going to overreact. And I think that's a real risk for the committee, which has done a lot of good work, mostly when the witnesses testify, not when the members are opining. It is invariably the case that when you go too far trying to prove your case, you undermine it. And I think you got to give credit to the intelligence.
All right, there you have it. Jake Tapper should have been a lot more aggressive with that. That's quite an admission. Quite an admission from John Bolton. And this is how you know they're too comfortable. There's never accountability. There's never justice against American elite war criminals and corrupt politicians. And since that's the case, they're overconfident. They're cocky. They're arrogant. They think like, I can get away with whatever the fuck I want to get away with. When I do it, it's legal. When I do it, they're Alonzo in Training Day. If the cops do it, it's not illegal. It's good. He thinks when I do it, it's good. Coups, those are positive when I do them. They have no respect for international law, no respect for the U.S. Constitution, no respect for U.S. law. And this is our media and how they deal with it. They play patty cakes with them. What you're seeing here is multiple levels of institutional rot within the same short video clip from the news station. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop. And watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.